Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 162. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for Weekly Recap Newsletter 210. So just a quick summary of things that happened this past week in Star Atlas. There was the Atlas Brew put on by the community team. Yeah, we'll just keep calling it the community team, mainly about Holosim, and that was pretty much it. So, however, I will kind of briefly talk about a post on Twitter that got some responses because related to blockchain gaming. But before I get to those things, just want to again mention things I'm working on Star Atlas. First, of course, is my website, intergalacticherald.com. It's a great Star Atlas resource website with guides, directories, recaps, and a Star Atlas Discord announcement newsfeed. So again, you can check all that out at intergalacticherald.com. Also have my Star Atlas merch store at intergalacticgear.com. Not a lot of selection. Sorry, Star Atlas has been kind of stagnant, so I haven't done any work on it. And then would like to get together with other Star Atlas gamers who aren't going to be joining guilds, so you can check that out at intergalacticcoalition.com. So let's go ahead and get into, well, the main thing that happened this past week in Star Atlas by Star Atlas was the Atlas Brew. It was another Atlas Brew, pretty much, exclusively focused on Holosim. First part was going over the current Chapter 2 updates, talking about different fixes, some upcoming marketing they're going to be doing, talk about an in-app storefront to buy crew, and then a little bit back and forth Q&A with the community there in the Discord chat. And then they switched and started talking about the next season of Chapter 3 of Holosim, mentioned things like scanning will be there, and then again, it kind of lots of input from the community and things like that. And I'll totally admit, I kind of started tuning out at that point. And again, it wasn't that, it's late on a Friday night when I was listening to this and recording this podcast, so it's been a long week for me. So anyways, but if you want to listen to all the details, please check out the YouTube channel of Star Atlas TV. You can go through that. Part of it is just that, I'm just not as interested in Holosim as, I just hasn't been something I've been getting into. However, if you are into Holosim, really great Atlas Brew, do check it out. So, and then kind of moving forward, kind of thinking about this past week and kind of the state of Star Atlas, what's been going on. Yeah, I do think it's really great that they have been giving constant updates on Holosim, both for now and talking about the future. So I think that's really great. Definitely like to hear more about C4 and Zinc too, but only selfishly because I guess that's what I'm more interested in right now. So, but I understand some of this could be affected by the recent staffing layoff. So that's completely understandable. And again, there was some feedback a couple weeks back that Michael Wagner, the CEO, posted about kind of where things were working. So, again, if they've lost staff, can't expect things to, timing. It's all understandable. And again, Holosim's active, able to be played, definitely something you should focus on. But would love to get more, or not more frequently, but just, little tidbits here and there. But again, I understand if they're not doing it. So, so again, that's pretty much it. But I did want to kind of talk about one other topic that's tangentially related to Star Atlas. Definitely got my Twitter feed, lots of posts because, again, people from Star Atlas was doing it. So if you want to check out the actual article that has the link to the original tweet, you can check that out in my weekly recap newsletter. But to summarize, basically, it was, again, not to get into too much details because I'm not 100% sure. It's hard to tell sometimes. But anyways, someone from the Solana Foundation posted basically a phrase strangely in response to a post from Meta, i.e. Facebook, getting out of their metaverse thing. And the quote was, "Games will not return to the blockchain." And the article, who was quoting this tweet, was saying, well, the play-to-earn model has collapsed, and gave examples of like Axie Infinity and other things. Actually, they didn't get too much. But anyway, so again, I'm kind of stretching for content. But again, it is related to Star Atlas because, again, Solana is the blockchain Star Atlas decided to use, is using, plans to use in the future, obviously, even though the Zinc blockchain is a clone. Is that the right term? I'm not sure. But anyways, it's running on a Solana virtual machine. I'm already forgetting all the technical terms. But so first thoughts on this. There was a little comments from other people in the Solana Ecosystem Foundation, and they then said it was satire. And so I'm like, meaning the first comment satire? Again, part of the problem is the person who posted was like the head of gaming at Solana. So again, I'm not even sure at the end if this was serious or not, but we can look at the larger ecosystem and gaming studios that were building on Solana many of them have stopped, failed, bankruptcy, whatever you want to call the term. So, the number of games that were potential is dwindling. And I haven't read, I think was it New Year? Yeah, it was New Year. I think I posted some articles that talked about all the gaming studios that all kind of went under around the same time. So there was a pretty large contingency of that. So, but again, if we just kind of skip over the tweet and just talk about again, gaming on the blockchain. Let's just call it that as the topic. So I still have thought, even now it's been years later, and again, independent of how many games are on the blockchain, that the original premise of blockchain gaming had its positives. I mean, the biggest one was, again, this concept of ownership of assets. And yeah, 4 years later, NFTs, I mean, you can argue, are they still a thing? Are they not a thing? They're definitely not getting talked about on general news media. People aren't showing. I had remembered that, what was it? One of the late night talk shows, Jimmy Fallon owned one and brought out, what was it? A Bored Ape. And then other people who owned them too. I mean, yeah, it's not in that kind of public consciousness at all. But if you think of blockchain as a part of the internet, yeah, I'm going to still call it the internet. Without the internet, there's no blockchain. So yeah, so it's an internet technology. I mean, nobody cares about the actual internet technology, TCP, IP, UP, all those. I mean, nobody, HTTP. I mean, those things no one talks about, but without them, there is no internet, and hence everything built on top of it, e-commerce and things like that. So, blockchain as a internet infrastructure, I mean, perfectly fine. So, but I think the real key is this idea that two people through a trustless mechanism can exchange a digital asset. I mean, yeah, if that was brought to gaming, it radically changes games because people are getting assets and they're enclosed platforms of the gaming studios. So yeah, I still think that is the fundamental positive of the concept of blockchain gaming. But to me, I think maybe what confused the situation, because we definitely saw with NFTs that they were art. They had value because people said they had value, but they didn't have any intrinsic value or utility value. I mean, those were the arguments made back in the day of, how other parts of crypto are, what's the utility of it and things like that. So, but I think, to me, again, the focus that might have caused some of this lack of sustainability was that tokens. And again, you could still make the argument that the primary tokens, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and others, have value because people say they have value. But then when you combine that with gaming and then you earn the tokens by playing games, again, this play to earn, there was about, what's your return on investment? What's return on investment? How much money can you get? And I mean, it's natural human tendency to want to find the next cool thing and ride it to the moon. But that's just not gaming. Gaming is entertainment. It's interactive entertainment. It's not financial. It's not, there's no value in gaming. I'm not sure if this is a good analogy, but it's like reading a good book. It's because you want to read the book. Watching a good movie, you want to watch the movie. You don't think, well, if I watch this movie, I'm going to make some money. I mean, again, I'm just spending time talking, so it's my podcast. Anyways, but again, in this idea that the focus on the tokens to get rich was a wrong concept, and I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of value for sure, that I can exchange, ownership, but I don't know. Anyways, specifically related to Star Atlas, I think, to me, in hindsight, one of the problems of blockchain gaming is that it wasn't their tokens that were the problem, but it was the fact that in order to run the blockchain and the way the blockchain is set up, you need to pay the validators of the transactions. So those were Solana fees, and the number of transactions to do gaming play made affect the game way higher than anyone anticipated. I'm pretty sure that's been stated by the Star Atlas team that, when they thought about it, initially the fees were low, and they were fractions of Solana coins, 10,000s of a fraction of a coin. Problem is when the coin gets to $100 or $200, that's real money, and then you do multiple transactions for just one simple gaming step, and it became you just couldn't play. Even if you check out my videos, I had the idea, hey, buy a game like traditional games for $60 and pay $20 a month for your monthly fee. That's hard to justify when even then you don't get enough Solana for $20 a month. Now again, that prices have changed, so that's may or may not still be appropriate. But anyways, so I think that did affect Star Atlas. But again, then they had the response, well, hey, we'll just build our own blockchain using Solana because of all its benefits, and then that price will be low and that'll overcome the problem. And I'm definitely on board with that and hopeful that, again, that's right around the corner. So, but I think, again, the biggest complication of the idea of gaming on the blockchain is it combines gaming, entertainment pursuit, with token appreciation, which is a financial pursuit. And if those things aligned, then everybody would be awesome. But they didn't align. Star Atlas tokens, in-game tokens, are very low right now. So, and if you're only playing for token appreciation, not fun, then it kind of does it there. So I think, and again, I'm just speaking broadly. To me, it seems like gamers as a demographic are perfectly fine buying a game. The new free to play, free to earn, freemium models. Those were all came afterwards. Traditional, again, I stated before, I'm old school or old time gamer, whatever. I don't even know what to call it. But, you bought a cartridge to put in my Atari 2600, and you bought cartridges to put in Nintendos and Segas and PlayStations and Xboxes. Nobody had any problems with that for decades. And then with the internet and online, they came up with, I always thought of it called DLC, but, buying perks and stuff, and that became a totally different revenue stream. And then it allowed for, you can play the game for free, but then you want to do other things, you got to buy stuff. So, gamers are totally fine paying for things to play. Crypto, in addition to the things I've already mentioned, has another problem, which is the onboarding complications. Buying a game with your credit card's fine. Setting up a crypto wallet, maybe it should be a hardware wallet, signing transactions and all this kind of stuff. And again, you can definitely debate whether or not Star Atlas and other blockchain gaming companies, kept the blockchain obvious, some hid it, and then you can do it. You can definitely debate the pros and cons of that whole thing, but to me, I can't deny that it adds another level of complication to it. So to kind of wrap this up, I guess in my mind, gaming on the blockchain, to me, could definitely work. I mean, there's absolutely, and let's give credit where credit's due. Star Atlas has shown that. Other game other game development studios showed that too. The problem is it hasn't been sustainable. None of them come up with a business model and a revenue stream to continue development. I mean, that's the problem. Games take a while. I mean, if you think about it, that's, I think, one of the reasons mobile games became so popular is they had a much smaller development cycle. I mean, a classic AAA game could take years of development with complicated tools, and then you have to have a massive PC to run it. Or, again, develop a console game, still have to buy a console, things like that. But, a mobile game, you just build an app. They're, simple logics, things like that. So, but I think maybe the bigger thing on the game on blockchain is, and whether this is truly universal, I can really only say I have experienced Star Atlas, but I still think one of the keys is the game has to be fun, and fun has to be defined as entertainment, not necessarily token appreciation or economy. But again, to be on the blockchain and to have those things, you need an economy. I mean, I guess I get that. You can't just. And again, I never even thought about what model of mobile game could be turned into a crypto. But as I've been with Star Atlas, monitoring and following it for years, I mean, there were times where there was a mobile game talked about. I can't remember what it was. It was exercise. What was I don't know what it was. But again, you could have your crew member and you run and like levels them up and things like that. And so a play to move, I think. Yeah, I mean, that seemed like a great idea, but there was problems with the implementation and potential cheating by, I don't know, jiggling your phone a lot or something like that. So that never went there. And again, we're seeing in HoloSim, people are having fun, but it has an underlying blockchain. You're just not exposed to it. And again, there's different ways to look at all that. So I guess in the end, I think, what was the phrase? Games will not return to the blockchain. I don't really buy that. I think with the right business model and the right revenue stream, I mean, games can be on anything. They can be on, we've seen that. There's board games, there's console games, there's PC games, there's mobile games, there's web games. I mean, gaming can be independent of whatever technology platform you want to do. The problem was when the platform becomes the problem. And again, if we tie this comment back into the metaverse play by Meta, you have to buy goggles. Again, at least they made them cheaper, but still, playing on your phone, you already have it. Playing on your, consoles are dedicated to gaming. But, again, they were at a price point that was perfectly normal for someone to buy. And I'm dating myself, but I mean, we've had consoles since 1980, 1970s. I mean, this is going on 50 years. So, I mean, consoles as an object, even computer gaming have been around even longer. I mean, those platforms are solid. I mean, they've happened. So, you can say a technology, a blockchain isn't inherently pro gaming or against gaming. It's what you put on top of it. And again, I go back to what I still feel is a strong reason is ownership. We've never had that before. Now, is that because we're not used to it? And I think, again, there just hasn't been that thing. So horse, cart, chicken, egg, all that kind of stuff. So I guess to leave it, if it was my thought, again, to me, it's if you have a fun game first and you put it on the blockchain with ownership of assets, I mean, seems like something that could work. Again, just because it's a good idea doesn't mean it's implemented. So, again, in Star Atlas's case, long lead time, high Solana fees, and they've said the key is to get a product that people want to play. So, I think. Anyways, okay, that was my long-winded thoughts on this quote on Twitter. So anyways, final segment, kind of just my journey playing Star Atlas. There was some Sly Assistant automation issues, which fortunately the developers behind it fixed it. So that's great, but it literally turned off my computer for a couple of days because it just wouldn't work. But yeah, it was, I can't remember what it was. It was RPC server blockage. Yeah. I think that was it. Yeah, sorry. Totally forgot. But once I got back into it, I've been continuing with my normal process, which I'm currently mining Luminite, again, with the idea of trying to craft a Mamba X. So getting close to my needed Luminite number, so I'm restarting my transfer fleet so I can start transporting that back, trying to align that maybe those two get done, and then I can move on to the next resource. And then I shouldn't not forget to say, I'm still zinc, what's it called? The zinky thing. What are we doing in zinc? We are earning experience points by playing, but also doing the daily check-ins. So I think I'm over 100 days on that. So yeah, so continue to do that and slowly, very slowly, gaining some experience, going up the rank chart and leveling up that thing. So yeah, so again, same old, at least as far as Sage and Zinc. Again, still hoping for updates on C4, but again, Awesome exists. Definitely been following that through the Atlas Brew, not playing, but again, products there, setting the stage for hopefully, did find it interesting. They mentioned they might actually start doing some marketing, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, just wrap up. Thanks for listening. Again, totally open. If anyone wants to be a guest on the podcast, please go to intergalacticherald.com and go to the contact sheet, or you can reach out to me on Discord. Same handle as my name. While you're there, go to intergalacticherald.com. You can check out my Star Atlas guides, directories, recaps, my Discord news announcement feed. If you really want to buy a Star Atlas mug in the United States, please check out intergalacticgear.com. And again, want to hang out on a different chat platform or community platform, I guess is a better way to say it. Definitely would be interesting in getting together with other Star Atlas gamers who want to chat and do that. Check out Intergalactic Coalition for an interest survey. Other than that, this was the past week in Star Atlas. My name is Matt with Intergalactic Herald. Have a great week ahead.